Welcome to your first lesson of accounting. By this point, you should have recorded all of these vocabulary words from your textbook in Chapter 1. If not, make sure to do that before you continue the notes. If you're in Accounting 1, this is your first accounting lesson. I know you're so excited. I am. And if you're in Accounting 2, this will be a review because it's been like 5 months since we've done accounting, and y'all know how crazy the spring semester was, so we're just going to start a review from the very beginning. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Accounting is the language of business. So a business has to analyze all of its financial information and use it to determine how they're going to operate and how well they've done for a couple months or a few years, however long they've been in business. The actual definition of accounting is the process of planning, recording, analyzing, and interpreting financial information. And all of that is put into what's called the accounting system, which is the planned process used to compile that data and then summarize the results. So here's my little bit emoji that I created. I'm going to go to each vocabulary word to make sure you're following along. And then with the accounting system, we have financial statements. These are financial reports that summarize the condition of a business. So like at the end of a month or year, a business will look at all of their financial statements and determine how well they've done. So it'll tell them how much money they've spent, how much money they've made, and then if they've made a profit or if they've actually lost money or not. So these financial statements are very important to a business. All right, moving on to accounting in personal life. So in your personal life, you actually do accounting every single day. Whenever you go to the store and you take out cash or your debit card and you want to buy something, that's accounting. Okay, if you had a summer job where you got a paycheck and then you had to pay taxes out of that paycheck, maybe you saved up some money and got something. Or maybe someday whenever you graduate high school, you might want to buy a car, take out a car loan or a student loan to pay for college. That's also accounting in your personal life. So these are skills that you need to know, like writing a check, depositing money into a bank account. That is very important for just your life in general. A net worth statement is a financial statement that shows what someone owns, owes, and the difference between the two. So if you wanted to, you could actually do a net worth statement on your own. In years past, I've actually made kids do this before. So you could pick some assets, which is anything that you own. So maybe some cash, your phone, your clothes, okay? Anything that you own, that would be an asset. And then you would take a look at your liabilities, which is anything that is owed. So maybe you owe some money to the concession stand or to the NHS or a friend, you know. They're always like, hey, can I borrow $1 so I can go get something? That would be considered a liability. Someday you might have some loans or credit card bills. I hope not, because credit cards are awful. But anyways, if you do, that would be a liability. And then if you subtract the two, so you take the difference between your personal assets and your personal liabilities, that would determine your personal net worth. And same thing as net worth, another word for that is equity. So down here, here's the formula for it. Total assets minus total liabilities equals your net worth or owner's equity. And a business has to do this to determine how much they're actually worth. Okay, moving on to the next page. If you're following along in your textbook, we're going to talk about ethics. So ethics in general, you've learned since you were a little kid, like the principles of right and wrong that guide your decisions, you know, whether or not you should lie or steal or cheat, stuff like that. But a business actually has to follow ethics as well. So business ethics is the use of ethics in making business decisions. One company that comes to mind that did not make good business ethics decisions is Rager Dykes Auto Group. I don't know if y'all know who they are or remember, but maybe like 2 years ago, they were involved in some shady stuff. So they're a car dealership and they were reporting all of their sales. They were keeping some for themselves. So they were basically involved in a lot of criminal activity and were not following good ethics. So they had to shut down and file for bankruptcy. So someday, if you are an accountant or you own your own business, you have to follow what's called the GAAP, and that's just the standards of accounting, which we'll talk more about later on. But basically, just know that you have to follow ethics in order to have a good business. Okay, so now go ahead and get out those work together pages. We are going to look at an example. All right, now go ahead and get out those work together pages. We are going to do an example together. I don't grade these. They're kind of just like a part of your notes. We're going to do the work together. That's why they're called that. And then you're going to do an application problem on your own. So you're going to turn in those application problems for a grade to me, but these work togethers aren't graded. Make sure that you turn to page 9 in your textbook, and it's going to give you instructions to follow along with. So on page 9, go to the middle of the page. It's the second little arrow. It should say work together 1-1. And it says Megan Finder, a recent college graduate, is applying for her first credit card. The creditor has asked for a personal net worth statement. Megan has $800 in her checking account and owns a scooter worth $2,000. She owes JC Auto $920 and River College $125. Complete a net worth statement for Megan Finder. So we're pretending like we are Megan Finder's accountant, and we're going to create this net worth statement for her so that she can apply for her first credit card. What we need to do first, turn to page 7. It's going to give you an example of what that looks like. So the very first line, we're going to write her name, Megan Finder. And then under that, we're going to title it Net Worth Statement. And then we're going to date it. So it looks like the date on this, well, let's just use today's date because we're doing it today. So this would be August 17th, 2020. All right, then we're going to start off by listing all of the assets. So I'm going to write assets and start listing them out. So the first asset that it says she has is $800 in her checking account. So we're gonna write checking account. By the way, please do not write in pen. I would highly recommend pencil because more than likely you're going to make a mistake when doing accounting. And if you mess up on your paper, it's very hard to go back and fix it, especially if you do it at the beginning. And as we start getting to harder stuff, you definitely want to use pencil. All right, she had $800 in her checking account. And then she owns a scooter worth $2,000. And then we're going to add those together. So we need to write total assets and add them up. Okay, I don't know if y'all have seen them or not yet, but there's calculators in the back for accounting. You're welcome to take one home if you need it for homework. Just make sure you bring it back. All right, let's go ahead and add these together. So I would get 800 plus 2,000 would give me 2,800. And in accounting, we draw a line right before we're totaling something, and then we're going to draw a line after it to show the total. So make sure that you have those two lines there to show that this is a total. Now we're going to do the liabilities. So just like what we did with the assets, we need to write liabilities. We're going to skip a line. And then let's list out Megan's liabilities. She owes JC Auto $920. and River College, $125. Okay, then we're going to total those. I'm going to draw a single line to show that I'm totaling this. 920 plus 125 would be $1,045. And then another line under it to show that we totaled it. Now for the last step, we're going to calculate Megan's net worth. So skip another line and then we're going to write net worth down here. So remember, the definition of net worth is just liability, or the difference between liabilities and assets. So we're just going to subtract assets minus liabilities. Alright, so let's subtract 2,800 and 1,045. So whenever I do 2,800 minus 1,045, I should get 1,755. So because this is our final total, instead of doing a single line, we're going to do a double line, and that shows that we are done and that this is the final value that we wanted to calculate. Alright, so now what you're going to do is the application problem. You're going to turn to page 25 in your textbook, and it's going to give you the instructions for 1-1 application. You're going to do the exact same thing that we just did, but it's going to be a different person with different money and different assets and liabilities. And then make sure whenever you get done, you turn it into the box because this will be graded. Have a great day.